When you Harry Potter and your doggo goes, oh my human, where are you going?
So I genuinely have no interest in generational beefs. Aside from the fact that research actually shows that generational dividers are largely made up and don't actually reflect meaningful commonality between these groups, it just feels like a mostly made up conflict to keep people from finding common ground. And with the way our society likes to condescend to young people while also glorifying youth and the rampant ageism, it just feels weird that this is a line that we're trying to draw in the sand. But videos like this especially just really crack me up, because a common thread I have actually noticed about Gen Z is how deeply cynical they are. And it feels like so many young people would rather glorify their unhappiness than actually experience something authentically. On Twitter the other day, I had someone try and insult me by saying, are you gonna listen to someone who unironically calls themselves a nerd in their bio? As though doing anything unironically is just the worst possible thing they could think of. But here's the irony. In an attempt to separate yourselves so much from the cringe, you're actually becoming it. Gen Z loves to talk about how you can always tell when there's a millennial in the writer's room of a TV show because of how they misuse Gen Z slang, but that video is the exact same thing for millennials. Is there still a person in 2022 who actually uses the word doggo? Maybe, probably. It's not a common thing. These are all 15-year-old references. Isn't Gen Z supposed to be aware of how quickly the internet moves? Millennials as a generation really just share a lifetime of trauma and lack of opportunity. And consequently, a lot of millennials just want a little bit of joy. Literally from the time we were 16, boomers were talking about how self-obsessed and terrible we were. And then we entered adulthood as the statistically most educated and progressive generation yet, while also having the least opportunity in the midst of the Great Recession. It's actually super similar to what Gen Z went through with COVID. But instead of finding solidarity or just being remotely chill about any of this at all, a lot of Gen Z would rather just pick apart any happiness millennials managed to find in this capitalist hellscape. Because it might be cringe. I don't know. Hate to break it to you, but time is unkind to everything, and everything is going to be cringe at some point, so might as well get over it now.